The Swim England Masters National Short Course Swimming Championships is now only 2 months away, and therefore in this video I just want to discuss my potential event schedule so that I can identify which events I'm going to have that advantage in from a scheduling and energy perspective, and which events I may need to think twice about entering so that I have sufficient energy going into my most preferred events. 2 weeks ago, I went into my times versus the qualifying times for this year's competition, and as a result found out that I have phase 2 qualifying times for each one of my 6 preferred events for this year's Swim England Masters National Swimming Championships, and therefore am likely to be able to take part in each one of those events at this year's competition, so long as there are sufficient entries during the phase 2 entry period. But before I go into it, if you give this video a like, I'd very much appreciate it. Remember to follow and subscribe for more swimming content, but otherwise let us dive into this topic. And the first event on my schedule is Friday afternoon, which is the 50 meters butterfly. And there seems to be a recent history of the 50 meters butterfly turning up on the Friday, which I both like and dislike because it just always, I seem to never get the opportunity to go into my other preferred events nice and fresh, which it would be nice to get the opportunity to do so every now and then. But at the same time, it's useful as a little bit of a sacrificial event. The 50 fly, although it's third on my list of 6 in terms of preference, normally it goes reasonably well. It's a good event to get the arms swinging, to get the blood pumping, and just to get into the feel of the competition each year. It's also an event that if it doesn't go well, it's one that I'm able to bounce back from reasonably well, and as a result my head doesn't tend to drop if I don't get the best 50 meters fly time. So good that it's coming on the Friday afternoon, and in case it's that sacrificial event where you just get into the feel of the competition, it's not my most important race, and therefore is a good one to start this year's competition off with. This is shortly followed by the 100 meters freestyle, which is taking place on the Friday evening, and I'm a little bit in two minds as to whether that is good scheduling me for not, because on the positive side, whilst it comes second in my schedule out of 6, at the same time it occurs in the evening, which is when I know my energy is lowest throughout the course of the day, and therefore I don't know how fresh I'm going to be going into this 100 meters free, which I'm so determined this year to get a sub 60 second short course 100 meters freestyle. It's been my goal in swimming for as far as I can remember now, and I'm just hoping it occurs at this year's competition. Honestly, I would have preferred it to come on Saturday morning where my energy is nice and fresh, but it's still early on in the event's schedule so that I can attack it with as much energy as possible, perhaps even on the Friday afternoon. But then again, if it's on the Friday afternoon, then I haven't had that first event to get into the swing of things a little bit. So yeah, a little bit in two minds as to how happy I am with the scheduling of the 100 meters freestyle, but nonetheless hoping that I finally go that sub 60 seconds this year. Next up is the 200 meters freestyle, which in order of preference for me is my 4th favorite event. And again, I'm a little bit in two minds as to how happy I am with this scheduling, because whilst it's on Saturday morning and it means that I can go into it fresh from both the scheduling in terms of how many events I've done and coming into it in a morning, which is when I have the most energy. At the same time, it's not the event that I care the most about this year, largely because since having a child, it's meant that quite a lot of my aerobic training has had to have been sacrificed in favour of more anaerobic events, and therefore I truly don't know how well I'm going to do in the 200 metres freestyle this year, because although I'm becoming more technically proficient and therefore stand to gain from a technical perspective, from a aerobic and holding on to pace perspective, I just don't know where I stand. I don't know where I stand. Similarly, I haven't done any 200 metres freestyles this year, and so I'm a little bit rusty in terms of pacing, how quickly I go out in the 200, which is key to coming in with a good time, because you don't want to go out too fast and kill yourself too soon to give you so much to do coming back. And similarly, you don't want to go out too slowly so that you end up finishing the race with a lot more left to give in the tank. So again, I'm a little bit conflicted as to how I feel about the 200, but it gives me the best opportunity to get a good time in this year's event. Moving on to the fourth event, and that comes on a Saturday afternoon, which is the 400 metres freestyle. I'm a little bit conflicted as to whether I enter this one, because although it's reasonably well scheduled and I don't have any events on the Saturday evening, meaning I can go into my Sunday races fresh, at the same time a 400 is going to take a lot out of me, and having two big aerobic events on a Saturday, is that just going to leave me so lacking in energy on the Sunday that, you know, it's going to take too much out of me for my biggest race, which is the 50 metres freestyle, which happens on the Sunday. So a little bit conflicted. However, I really want to do the 400 freestyle because I have one time for it, which is a long course time, which means that in a short course setting at Ponds Forge, I know that I stand to absolutely destroy my personal best in this event. Similarly, because I haven't done it more than once, and therefore, yeah, it just means that I can get my tactics spot on and just absolutely smash this event, and will probably come away with a guaranteed personal best. Moving on to the fifth event, and sadly this is one that I feel is going to have to fall by the wayside if I'm going to take the 50 metres freestyle seriously, and that is the 200 metres IM, which I'm a little bit sad about because it's one that is growing on me in terms of how much I enjoy doing it, and therefore will be sad to not be racing it at Masters Nationals this year, I won't be racing it so long as I can enter my 50 metres freestyle, just because 53 is what I've been training for the most this year. It's the event that I've been focusing on, that I can give my all to, despite having to give up quite a lot of my training time since becoming a father. And in the ethos of taking my swimming seriously, it means that I've just got to prioritise the 53, which is the event just after the 200 metres IM. Perhaps if the 53 was on the Sunday afternoon, then I would have had enough recovery time between those races to make me consider doing the 200 IM as well. But if there are enough spaces left at the phase 2 entry times for the 53, then sadly 200 IM is just going to have to be forgotten about this year, which is a shame because I haven't done it at Masters Nationals yet. I've done it at my two most recent swimming galas. I think I'm doing it at my next one too. yeah, which is just a bit of a shame because I've been enjoying it. I want to see how fast I can go in this event, which Ponds Forge in Sheffield provides a great opportunity to do. But sadly, if I want to do well in the 200, in the 50 metres freestyle rather, then it's one that I'm not going to be able to do. Which brings me on to the sixth event, which by process of elimination, and as I've alluded to already, is the 50 metres freestyle taking place on the Sunday morning, which, again, a little bit annoyed it's coming on a Sunday morning. Morning, which is good. Sunday, which is bad, because it will be my last event. And it's the one that I want to do the best in. Well, following the 100 metres freestyle, if I get the sub 60 second 100 metres freestyle, then the rest of the meet can go to absolute pot as far as I'm concerned. But on the basis that I've put the most efforts into the 50 free this year, I really want to get some return for all of my hard work. And as a result is the event that I want to get the most from this year. So, looking forward very much to the 50 metres freestyle, which is taking place on the Sunday morning. That is it for today's video, and if you've enjoyed it, please give it a like. Remember to follow and subscribe for more swimming content, and to swim faster on limited training time, head on over to westcough.com. Otherwise, see you in the next video.